Little Girl with Big Ideas, Chapter 8. Same title as the book, Little Girl with Big Ideas. By the time I graduated high school, I had this below my photo in our senior class yearbook. Quote, talk, 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 and little girl with big ideas. I must acknowledge both are true, yet I far prefer the little girl with big ideas identity to the chatterbox image. Nonetheless, I turned the first, talk, 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 to my favor. I used that characteristic to learn other languages. Just as talking came naturally to me, practicing speaking in other languages was and is a joy to me. Note that while my high school friends said I had big ideas, they also said I was little and a girl. How little was I? Well, I was the smallest in height of anyone in my family, and my family's large. I have 9 aunts, of course, grandparents, not just on my mother's side, 9 aunts and uncles, and I'm one of 22 cousins. Shortest person. I was the smallest in height of anyone in my family and the shortest among most everyone in high school. My dad was 6 feet tall, my grandfather too. My uncles were even taller at 6'2", and most of my male cousins were an astonishing 6'4". My mom was 5'6", and my aunts were similarly tall or taller at 5'8", with the shortest at 5'4". At 5 feet tall, I did not even reach the ideal of the oldie favorite song, 5'2", eyes of blue, has anybody seen my gal? My younger sister, more athletic, a cheerleader, and without a doubt the most popular girl in high school. Did I mention that already? Well, she was. All the time. Was 5'2", but in most everyone's eyes, her stature was even taller. My height was praised in my favorite musical, South Pacific, in the song Honey Bun, with the lyrics, I'm speaking of my sweetie pie, only 60 inches high, every inch is packed with dynamite. Dynamite. Okay, so my weight was a little higher, but I could pack my life with more dynamite. In that musical, as much as I admired the quiet charm and beauty of the young lieutenant's Polynesian sweetheart, especially as he serenaded her singing Younger Than Springtime, I never found it possible to be me and be quiet too. My shortness not only attracted teasing, it also stirred questions within me. I still recall asking my mom one evening as we were finishing dinner in the kitchenette with knotty pine paneling, was I adopted? Would it make any difference? She asked me. I thought a moment, considering the implications. No, I replied, speaking honestly. It was no family secret that my grandparents, my mother's parents, Max and Celine, who at that time had 2 young daughters and a son on the way, had taken in Florence, their 2-year-old red-haired niece, to raise upon her mother's untimely demise, which was caused by a mechanical dumbwaiter accidentally dropping down on her head, killing her. A dumbwaiter is when you have multi-story building. It's an elevator only for food, and it has shelves, and there's something that lets it go down. But if you stick your head into that food closet elevator and you look up to see if it's coming, and it is coming, it'll hit you in the head. So unfortunately, that's what happened. Florence's father, of course, needed to work, and so he asked his brother Max to take care of his only child, who was the same age as my mother. My grandparents went on to have 6 more children, thus raising 9 in all. Photos and stories of their lives are told in my memory books written for my mother's 85th birthday and for my Aunt Gladys's 90th birthday, and names appear at the end of this memoir. So I asked my mother asked me, would it make any difference? I said, no. And she said, no, you are not adopted, but it would not have made any difference anyway. I appreciated her honesty and her attitude. She loved children, and in many ways, as the second oldest in a family of 8 siblings, 8 children plus her adopted sister, she was a loving, generous, and protective little mother to them. She was also playfully clever at creating trouble among this brood. It took about 50 plus years for her siblings to finally figure out who was the pot stirrer instigating sibling fights, because she alone seemed able to be on friendly terms with everyone, all sides, even among those no longer speaking to one another for months or for years, in one case for decades. My mother was a role model to me, not only for her more loving ways, but for ways not to be as well. I aspired to be like my dad, but as a female, my options were limited. What were the possibilities for a girl entering the 1960s? Marriage and raising children was the goal, with the careers of secretary, nurse, and teacher on the limited list. A new career was emerging, stewardess, now called flight attendant, then the glamour job of waitress in the sky. The Grimm's fairy tales and the song of faraway places widened my imaginary world and created in the mind of this little girl very big ideas. So how does a little girl with big ideas make them happen, especially at a time and in a world that propels women into marriage and promotes having children? How? I like imagining ideas, big ones.